Good morning, kids. Mr. Michael here. Glad you could join us. Today's lesson would be a really good one to have your parents come and watch too. So if they're nearby, grab them and tell them to come watch it because they're gonna be able to help you with this. But we're going to do a Bible story. It's been a long time since we've done a Bible story. I'm really excited. And this story really has a lot to do with what's going on in our country right now. Okay? So on one occasion, an expert in the law stood up to test Jesus. He wanted to see if he could catch him. He said, "Teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" "Well, what is written in the law?" Jesus said. "You're a lawyer. Tell me what you've read." And the man answered, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and with all your strength and your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." "You have answered correctly," Jesus said. "Do this and you will live." But the man wanted to justify himself, so he asked Jesus another question, "And who is my neighbor?" Now he's asking that because he wants to know who he actually has to love to get to heaven. He doesn't want to love everybody. He wants to know who his neighbor is. Jesus knows what he's doing, so Jesus turns that question around on him with a really fun story right here. So in our story, a man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They stripped all his clothes, they beat him to an inch of his life, they stole his money, and they left him for dead. Now, by the way, interesting thing, by the way, is Jesus, this is the only parable I know of where Jesus put a specific place. He said the man was going from Jerusalem to Jericho. Now, what's interesting about that is that road was probably the most dangerous road in the area at the time. It was basically going through the worst neighborhood you can think of, and the man was by himself. Now, Jesus used that on purpose because A, people get robbed there a lot, and B, somebody listening to the story is going to go, well, the man went by himself in that worst neighborhood again. He deserved to get beat up. Literally, that's why Jesus did this. So this way he'd have his people in the right mindset so he could turn this around on him. Okay? So let's go back to our story. After some time, a priest came by down the road and happened to see the man laying there all beat up.
Oh, poor guy. Man, that was quite the beating. Surely I would stop and help, but I'm on the way to synagogue and I'm already running late, and were I to touch him, I would become unclean and would miss the service due to becoming clean once again. Poor man, hopefully someone else will help him.
And he went on the far side of the road and went away from him. A short time later, a Levite came by. A Levite was a very respected class in society, and he saw the man on the side of the road.
Oh my goodness! Oh, that looks nasty. Oh, he looks terrible. And full of germs. He definitely has coronavirus and who knows what else. I can't do this right now.
So the man is still in really bad shape. So Jesus finally talks about another person, and the person he uses is a Samaritan. Now, he uses a Samaritan on purpose because the Samaritan is the lowest class of society. Think of the person that would just gross us out today. Maybe a homeless person that even looks worse than that guy. I don't know. The Samaritans and the Jews literally wouldn't even talk to each other. They wouldn't be in the same room. That's how much they hated each other. And that's the reason why Jesus used a Samaritan. We're going to come back to that in a minute. So, back to the story. A Samaritan, as he traveled, came to where the man was. When he saw him, he immediately took pity on him and ran over to help him. He bandaged his wounds, poured in oil and wine, did everything he could to help this man that was so beat up.
Water, sir?
And still helping the man as best he can. Okay. Then he put the man on his very own donkey that he was going with.
Come here, donkey.
It was kind of a cow donkey. It was a donkey cow. He put him on this donkey and put his very own coat on the man, his nice coat, and got it all bloody and icky. put him on the donkey. And then he took him into town, put him to an inn. A little further, the inn's right over there. Excellent. Okay, took him into the inn. And then asked the innkeeper.
Welcome in.
And he asked the innkeeper to take care of him. So he gave him some money, he said 2 denarii, and he gave him to the innkeeper and said, look after him. He said, when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have. So let's give him to the innkeeper.
The ground got heavy.
Okay, take him to a nice, comfortable bed. Excellent. All right. So let's give our helpers a big hand. Thank you, everybody. A whole clap for him. Woo! Thank you. Excellent. All right. Okay, Jesus went back to the man after the story was over, and he said, so which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers? He changed it completely. The man thought the neighbor is somebody that's in a specific place, someone I live to, right? We think of our neighbors as the people right around us. Jesus basically turned that whole thing around and said, a neighbor's not a person or where it is or who it is. It's simply anyone in the world who treats you like a neighbor. That's what he did. He turned the whole question upside down. So the expert in the law replied, and I love this, he said, the one who had mercy on him. He didn't say the Samaritan. That's how much they hated the Samaritans. He couldn't even say the Samaritan. I wouldn't doubt if he said it like this, the one who had mercy on him. I mean, he was embarrassed because Jesus just proved him. He was coming to test Jesus, and Jesus put him down in his spot with this wonderful story. And Jesus told him, go and do likewise. He didn't say go and do the same thing. He didn't say go and do good deeds once in a while. He didn't say earn your way to heaven. He said go and show that same love to everyone you come in contact with. And that's what this is all about, boys and girls. That's what this is all about, in the fact that we are in this situation in our country right now. I don't know if you know this, kids. You're probably too young to know this. But 9 out of 10 people that are interviewed right now will say that the relations in our country are the worst they've been in their lifetime. I know, I think that. We've not had this much division in our country in 50 years. This is that bad right now. And what's interesting is when things happen that are terrible things, your kids, your parents are hopefully watching this too. We all know the story. What's going on right now is that cop killed that man that he was arresting with his knee on his neck, and he killed him. And the whole country went crazy over this, and we should. It was a terrible thing, okay? But it's turned into a controversy, a terrible controversy. And I know, kids, this is a little bit over your heads, but I just needed to talk about this real quick, is instead of the whole country coming together and saying that was wrong, because everybody thinks it was wrong. It doesn't matter who you are. Nobody thinks, oh, let's let that guy go. No, he's going to jail. We know he's going to get prosecuted, and he's going to get punished for this, and that's what should happen. But it's turned into a controversy because people are trying to make this a division. They're trying to run up and riot. Our town was one of 22 towns in the country, 22 cities, that rioting happened after this. People were throwing over cop cars and breaking windows and breaking into buildings and to people's offices and destroying stuff. I don't know how that is better. That's still sin. A sin from killing someone, a sin from hurting someone, it's all sin in Jesus' eyes. Okay? So I want to end here with, what was it really about, this story? I can answer it in one question. The Levite and the priest, one sentence. The Levite and the priest both looked at the man and they said to themselves, if I help him, what will happen to me? But the Samaritan turned that question around. The Samaritan looked at that person and said, if I don't help him, what will happen to him? That's what it's all about. It's all about, is it about me or is it about him? And Jesus wants us to love our neighbors, and our neighbors are everyone. He wants us to love people like we love ourselves. And kids, you know this better than anybody because you guys know the golden rule. What's the golden rule? Do unto others as you would like them to do to you. Love them first. And kids get that, okay? And hate is never the answer. Violence is never the answer. I'm going to end this with a quote from Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King Jr., who was the greatest civil service person that we've ever had in this country. Absolutely the greatest guy. And, I don't have really the authority to say my opinion on this, so I'm going to use Martin Luther King Jr. here. This is what he said. He said, returning hate for hate multiplies hate, adding deeper darkness to an already dark night. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate, only love can drive out hate. So that's what Jesus has been about for 2,000 years, is love your neighbor like yourself. Love everyone in this country. Our country is the most divided it's ever been since the Civil War. It's that bad right now, and there's no reason for it because we're all one. Let's get the love of Jesus back in our hearts and let him flow through us and love everyone and become a nation under God again. Thanks, boys and girls. Thanks, parents, for listening. We'll see you soon.